In this tutorial, we're going to make a very basic project, walking through all of the steps right up through compiling the board. Now to start out, let's go to the shell in the left-hand corner, click on that, then click on New Board. Here we get a dialog where we can enter the dimensions of the board, and we can also set the resolution here. Now this is going to be a basic raster carving, so we're going to leave the resolution at 128. Let's go ahead and hit OK. Now you'll see that once you hit OK, you get a three-dimensional board. The way Designer works is everything that you do in Designer will remove material from this board. If we go over to the right-hand side, we have our pattern library. Now in the pattern library, we have the basic library, which is all of the patterns that come with the software, as well as My Patterns. My Patterns is where every pattern that you either create or import will reside. For this project, we're just going to use a few patterns from the basic library. So let's go ahead and grab a fruit-of-the-leaves. When you do this, you are clicking on the pattern, moving over to the board. Wherever you wish to put it, you release. That will drop it on the board. Remember, anytime you want to snap to a front-facing view, go up, hit front face, and that'll snap you right there. Now, once we have the pattern on the board, we can go to the red dots in the corner, click, hold the mouse, drag those down. That allows you to resize that pattern. You can click anywhere inside of the pattern. You'll see how you get the four crossed arrows here. If you click, hold, that'll allow you to move the pattern anywhere you want. If you click on the yellow circles that are at the midpoints of the lines, both horizontal and vertical, if you grab the vertical one, it's going to allow you to distort the pattern. You can distort it both ways. Anytime that you want to undo what you've done, your undo is right up in the corner here. So we can undo those distortions. You also can use Control Z for undo. You'll notice in the middle we have another control ball here. That's a green one. That is to allow us to rotate the pattern. Again, we can undo anything here. Now, every pattern will also have dimensions which will show up in our input bar. So the dimensions of the pattern can be set to here, absolute numbers. The angle can be set here. Go ahead and undo that. And your depth can be set. Now, the depth is the deepest point that pattern is going into the board. So we can set that to 0.25. Now, on the toolbar here, we have tools for aligning as well as centering. So we can center things up very quickly. So let's go ahead and just click center both. That'll snap that pattern, and it actually locks it in there. So to take the centers off, we'd have to take both the horizontal and the vertical center off in order to be able to move this again. Let's go ahead and grab another pattern here. Let's just grab a filigree and go ahead and drop that onto the board. Let's scale it down a bit. Yeah, I think we're going to want to scale that a bit more than that. And we can move that in so you can see. Let's set it to the same depth as the other pattern. And essentially it will blend the two patterns together. So you can kind of see how they're merging together. Now, in our input toolbar, we have one other value here, which is height. Every pattern has a height, and it defaults to 100. This is a unitless number. Kind of think of it as you're pushing the pattern, shallowing it out, or bringing more of it to the front. So you can kind of think of like pushing it forward or backwards. So if we take this and we put 50, you'll see that it shallows that pattern up and pushes it a little more into the background. So we can kind of move that in a little bit. So we can kind of set that such that these kind of look a little more merged together. And it's very important to always kind of look closely at your patterns. Designer is a what you see is what you get package. So pay close attention to the details, what it looks like on the screen, because that is exactly the way it's going to look when you carve it. Now, next to that centering, we have our mirroring dialog. Here we can mirror vertically, horizontally, diagonally, or mirror all four. We're just going to go ahead and mirror horizontally. Now when we do that, those become linked. So if I move one, it doesn't matter which one I move, the other one will follow. They are tied together. There you can see we've created a very simple project with just a couple of patterns and just a few seconds of work.